Radharaman Prabhu is another very old friend, like going back a long time of Maharaj. He's Priyakun Prabhu called him the other day, he's like a modern day Narada Muni now, because he's going from different places in England to meeting the devotees, encouraging the people.
That's a nice description of Radhaman, the modern Narada Muni.
Yeah.
Good. That was a good one.
Priyakun Prabhu said that. Priyakun Prabhu is like the doing all kinds of things for Maharaj since many years. But he humbly first do I see you now? Is that you? From the camera of Dial More Prabhu.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you. That was very quick. Thank you so much. Yes, Prabhu.
We're sitting right now in Radharaman's flat. Yes. So he is instrumental in us being able to come here and stay here. Without him, we would not have been able to do it. Hare Krishna.
Jai. So magnanimous. Can you unmute? Because otherwise we won't still not be able to hear you. Dial more, Prabhu, whatever.
It's the same situation as here in Maharaj Mataji, so you can just go ahead. That's fine.
All right, at least we'll be able to see you. Very nice.
I'll answer that last point at the end of my offering.
Okay.
Dearest Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to you on this most auspicious day. And thank you so much for agreeing to be here on this day. Before you came last year, I don't think I ever really went to any Vyasapujas, and you brought the whole spiritual world to camp. And I'm convinced everything that's happening here, what Priya Company and Shamaguru are doing is mantra. It's you're the cause of that. Your coming has established this place as a Dham. So, for those at the end of my offering, I said at the beginning that although you're always thanking me for being able to come here, but I must thank you because you come here and created the Dham and provided shelter to me, as you always have, and all the devotees in Kent and London, and created a revolution in the Prabhupada in Kent and also in London. And, we've got a witness.
The results.
Yeah, he also has something to say. But
there's no way we can get a microphone into him so that others can hear.
Yeah. Can you put a thumbs up, please, if you can hear Radharaman? Okay, just so. Okay, thank you.
Oh, they can hear. Oh, great. They can.
Kind of, yeah.
Fantastic.
But I try and speak a little louder. That's at the beginning of my offering. And I quoted this verse from the 19th chapter of Madhya that we speak about so much. This chapter. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. And as in the rest of that section, it's elaborating spiritual masters, giving the back to that abuse, and there's no doubt you're the person that's been doing that. It started in 1990 when I met you at the Mind, Body and Spirit Festival. And in London in the summer of 1990. And that was a thing. And every year, you always so fired up to go to the Mind, Body, and Spirit Festival because they thought it was the best preaching in London. Because it was the best preaching in London, you had to be there, to be available. Every other day of the week, the rest of the year, you'd be available. Questions and answers, and everybody would come. That's why I met you more. There was some questions and answers. But first time was in the Mind, Body, and Spirit Festival, and I always remembered how every year, but notwithstanding whatever health challenge or anything, you'd be there every day at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival, first thing to last thing at night. Inspiration to all sanctifying brothers, because you'd always be out first thing, never be late. So that's why I met you for the first time. And ever since then, you were always there for me and took us back with the chakras. I'd also like to recall a very special meeting that I had with you and him together in the library. We used to call it that. Came to the VIP room, and it would become something else very soon.
Quartet, the future ecstasy.
And it was, I still remember to this day, it was wonderful having both of you together because you complement each other so nicely. And it may have been actually that meeting was particularly, I think, profound and convincing that I would actually join. Just to see the two of you together and how you were both explaining how you're both different personalities but coming together to serve Prabhupada and Krishna. And that's something that's always in my memory, that meeting with both of you together, but of course many more meetings. Sometimes it was in your little room. It was a small group, or it's a bigger group, and it would be in the library. And
When he said small room, that room was 6 feet by 5 feet.
for those of you who want to know how to find that room, it's still there. It's is it like the Radhakrishna side?
Yeah.
Just where that window is, the nearest wall. It's
It's no longer a room, but
No.
the space is there.
Yeah. You bring it back.
So I was hearing from Maharaj that in a sense it was like the early days of the readings of Prabhupada's books, and seeing how your Sankirtan has developed over the years, Maharaj. Being world champion, but distributed in 1975, when even then, in spite of health, we found a way to take shelter of Prabhupada and Krishna. And I think maybe you did the first book table because you got people over to the booth.
That was 73.
Yeah.
I was going out in a little Volkswagen Bug, and I would set up, when we first got the first 6 volumes of the Bhagavatam, that was in 73, and I would set them up in the back of the seat in the Volkswagen, sitting there. They're all colorful, and I would meet people, and I would look for the person that could take that set of books, and I would build it up. Would you like to see something like really incredible? And get them all here. And then we would come, and it would be like a deity greeting. We'd open the doors, and there it was, and there were Prabhupada's first 6 volumes of the books sitting there, and they were like stunned, and some would take it. Some would take, that was the beginning of distributing more than 1 book at a time. Hare Krishna.
And another time I remember, Kristen, in the questions and answers, you were finding the special people.
Yeah.
And just been expanding on that principle ever since. It's becoming more and more.
Looking for the needles in the haystack.
And And this came to mind. There was one special time because Maharaj always wears devotional clothes, but there was one tweed suit in his cupboard outside his room, and I always wondered what it was for. And then he went out on book distribution on the HMV, what used to be the HMV, where we went in to get those things. And so he went out in the suit and showed how to distribute books on Oxford Street. And his technique was just stopping the people that were already stopped. So all the devotees just say how hard it was to stop people. And I said, well, they're already stopped. Sometimes the English psyche, it's like that in France, but definitely in England, we're a little shy to do things like that. But Maharaj is fearless, as you know. He just went up to every single person as they were waiting and introduced the Bhagavad Gita and showed at a time when no one thought it was possible that you could distribute the Bhagavad Gita on the merit of the book. And he was getting 10 or 20 pounds per Bhagavad Gita. It was in 1993.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, now I'm going to have
But
to.
he's not finished yet.
I know, but look at the clock. It is 20 minutes left in our original scheduling.
Oh, no, we'll be here we can stay here forever.
Yes, an hour
Yeah.
and 20, Kathy.
Okay, that's encouraging. Yes, Prabhu, continue.
Okay, well, I'll fast forward a little bit.
Yes, that'll be good, I think.
And
Nice.
it didn't seem like I was speaking for that long. Has it been that long?
No.
It's a combination.
And then in the 90s, you introduced me to the gift of actually going out and book distribution and told me your own personal tips. I would stop in the middle of the day and read Chaitanya Charity meetings. So we did that on the way there and the way back. Read the Bhagavad Gita every hour.
Yes.
And properly the meeting in the evening.
Yes.
And I know for sure that if you hadn't been there, I would never have been able to do book distribution at the time that I did, and then I wouldn't be here for sure. So, and then of course when I left, because my offering was about all the times that you've always been there for me, like especially all the key times you've always been there. Like when I left Soho Street in 2003, and I was veering off track, but then you were preaching to me and how to take shelter of Krishna in those circumstances. And again, as others have said, so I won't elaborate on more, will also speak. But because spiritually speaking, you're a currency that's 108% backed up by God, and you fully walk your talk, and you're always chanting, and you're not chanting, you're reading or serving properly. Always taking shelter of Krishna in difficult moments. And one thing I'd like to share on that point, and I think Priya Kumpala will also testify to this, because we've seen you going for surgeries, and there was the thing in 2017, the typhoid loss. I was also in the hospital at the same time, struggling to even finish 16 rounds. I had to catch them up. But you're 1 hour away from leaving your body, but you never stop chanting your daily rounds.
Amazing.
I find the thing that we both noticed is that when you go through these things, you always come out stronger, even stronger than ever. And it's because you're taking shelter of Prabhupada and Krishna always. And the final thing I wanted to say is that so I said before, whatever difficulties I had, I think the root of it was a lack of attachment to Srimad Bhagavatam, and that changed, or began to change. The process of change was in 2017 in Kartik and Govardhan, when you and Vyasapuja read the third canto together, because one of the specific obstacles I had about Bhagavatam was the third canto. I thought it was a bit tough. So I kind of somehow managed to not go there, but then the two of you read the third canto together, and it was just like ever fresh, ever new. Devotees were saying, every single devotee was saying, and it was like we both reading it for the first time and relishing it, even though we've read it many times. This is the stage to say you're never tired of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead was glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who developed the taste for transcendental relations with him relish it, hearing his pastimes at every moment. And then Prabhupada explains this point in the purport. And then I always now think of even Vyasapuja when I read this purport because of that time. But there's a great difference between mundane stories, fiction, history, and the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The histories of the whole universe contain references to the pastimes of the incarnations of the Lord. The Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the Puranas are stories of bygone ages recorded in connection with the pastimes of the incarnations of the Lord, and therefore remain fresh even after repeated readings. For example, anyone may read Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam repeatedly throughout his life, and yet find in them new light and information. Mundane news is static, whereas transcendental news is dynamic, in so much as the spirit is dynamic and the matter is static. Those who have developed a taste for understanding the transcendental subject matter are never tired of hearing such narrations.
Yes.
So, in conclusion, I'm looking forward to reading the Bhagavatam again later this year.
Yes.
In this Dharma that you created.
Yes.
So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Radharman. Thank you.
Because
Hare Krishna.
Well, thank you so much. I don't know Radha Mahaprabhu very well, but whatever I see of him is so endearing that it's like, I feel so happy that someone like you is giving your own house for not a week, but for months and now years to Maharaj. It's such a sacrifice and so beautiful.
Well, we got him a better one, don't worry.
But that is the result. But
We arranged a better one for him because that's the nature of our relationship. Hare Krishna.
so inspiring.
It was very, very meaningful, very, very meaningful because you had
It's real devotion.
memories from a long time ago and also from different very key moments and key ideas. This is his intelligence. He's one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. Of course, it took a little time to convince him to move in, but it was worth the wait. And now look, now listen to him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Maharaj, are you still okay there? Or would you like to?
Am I okay?
break?
What kind of question is that?
It's my level of growth.
Is Krishna the color of a newly grown rain cloud?
I mean, I meant to say, would you like to take a small break? Or,
Absolutely not.
all right, okay. I'll take it back. So what about Ananda Murti? Because she's also in Taiwan. And she's
in Osaka.
Sorry, Osaka. Also very in Far
Japan.
East. Thank you, Maharaj. Always right. So where is she? Is she still here? Because she asked. Yes. Okay, so we always hear Ananda Murti. She's enlivening everyone in the reading group because she always comes first. She says like tonight I understood this and this from the reading. You always make a beautiful philosophical point. And if we're really lucky, then you also tell us about how many books you distributed or some Sankirtan adventure, isn't it? Yes. So can you unmute yourself and please give Maharaj your heartfelt words.
Yes. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Dear Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you. All glories to you and all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for bestowing your mercy upon me always, and to my husband and my daughter. By your mercy, every day I get the nectar of hearing Srila Prabhupada books every single day. Every single day I feel I am very close with you through Facebook Live. For this, I thank to all devotees who are engaged in this service related to Facebook and YouTube and all the management works. Thank you very much. And every day I can start my day with such transcendental atmosphere because that timing is 3:15 in Japanese time, AM. And my life is saved by you. If you were not in my life was totally materialistic in misery. You show me how to live. You show me how to serve Guru and Srila Prabhupada. And that is why I am so fortunate to have your guidance, even though I am not qualified. By his glories, by Shishika Prabhu's suggestion, we have decided to distribute a new Bhagavad Gita Japanese one, 12,000 by the end of this year. So by following his mission, I have also decided to distribute at least 3 Bhagavad Gita every day until fulfilling this goal. In this August, I have distributed about 500 Bhagavad Gita. And
Haribol.
Haribol.
that's by your mercy. And till the end of the August, in 12 days, I have aimed to distribute more 300 Bhagavad Gita. Today, I have distributed 31st Bhagavad Gita on the street. Today, my husband distributed 1 Bhagavad Gita, and at my Prasad restaurant, 4 Bhagavad Gita has been distributed. All the result I offer to you. Many amazing meetings I am experiencing on the street with people. I understand many people has previous connection with Bhagavad Gita. That's why they meet Bhagavad Gita again. Today, just 2 of them was knowing Bhagavad Gita. They have already read Bhagavad Gita. One was author was different one, and one people he was 20 years ago he got another version of Srila Prabhupada Bhagavad Gita. Version is translated by a previous one, and because you are serving Srila Prabhupada so enthusiastically, so I am eager to follow your footsteps. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to serve Srila Prabhupada by hearing your daily readings of Srila Prabhupada books and distributing Srila Prabhupada books. Thank you so much. I pray that I could always stay humble and always execute Srila Prabhupada mission. I always would like to serve you and Srila Prabhupada and serve all the Vaishnavas. Thank you so much. Your servant, Anandamurti Devidasi. Hare Krishna.
Anandamurti,
Haribol. Wow.
I went to Japan twice only, and I stayed with a friend of hers, and she immediately, within a few days, asked for initiation. So this is something very special. And usually that kind of incident ends up just kind of getting blown away by the wind. But as you just heard, this one didn't blow away by the wind. Not only did she continue, but she's distributing books. And she was also editing the new Japanese Gita. And so this is very important devotee for the Japanese Yatra by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. So thank you, Anandamurti. Thank you very much.
So much, Hare Krishna.
Very nice. So nice to see you and hear you live, Mataji. Oh, no, glory.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Bhakti Jasmine, I know you're the tech. She's, by the way, the whiz behind the scenes, changing all kinds of scenes and making everything flow. So we also have some recorded offerings, which of devotees who would like to say something to you, Guru Maharaj, but couldn't be here physically. So is it possible, Jasmine, to play the offering of His Holiness Shivaram Swami?
Of course.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What?
Ah, here we go. Jai.
Maharaj.
The sound. We need to hear the sound.
Bear with me a second.
This is like really.
Hare Krishna. Dear Keshava Bhakti Swami Maharaj, my dear beloved God brother, Hare Krishna. Happy birthday, happy 75th birthday, and all the best that Krishna's blessings can shower upon you. I pray for them, wish them. You really deserve them. You are one of the few devotees who are willing to be my friend through thick and thin. You've assisted me so much in my service to Srila Prabhupada, especially in my writing projects, Navavraja Mahima being one of them. And then, of course, we go back a long, long, long time, longer than we'd like to. And I hope that we go forward a long, long, long time into the spiritual realm where we can serve Radhe Shyam over there. We've been going through 2 years practically of COVID, and prior to that we were separated, but I'm always missing your association. You're a real source of inspiration for me with your dedication to reading, preaching Srila Prabhupada's books. And there's so many things that I could say. I think that your disciples and well-wishers will say them. I'm currently on Padayatra, and yesterday went out on Harinam with the devotees and watched them distribute books. It's a wonderful Krishna consciousness movement that we have the privilege to be part of. And part of the wonderful thing is the wonderful association and the wonderful devotees that we have the opportunity to have the company with, whom we would have never known otherwise, definitely. Our paths would have not crossed in the past, but they have. And I'm so very glad that they have, and I hope that our paths continue to go on for a long, long time in the future. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Always a rare thing that he would even think to do that. That's pretty special. For me, that's really special.
Jai. His Holiness Shivaram Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Jai ho.
Haribo. Luminaries flying in and out. And we have another avid hearer of the daily reading group. Her name is Bhakti Noel Craver.
Oh, yes.
She just requested ardently if she could speak to something to Maharaj. So go ahead, Noel.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Bhakti Noel. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to you. Hare Krishna. I want to show my gratitude for your patience, knowledge, and spiritual grounding that you provide for me and so many other Vaishnavas. Srila Prabhupada explained that an actual guru is one who is wholeheartedly dedicated to his or her own guru's teachings and those of previous spiritual teachers in the line. Otherwise, there is a miss. There is nothing amiss with you. This is you. I know the path of spiritual realization can be difficult, but you provide an open heart that allows one to hear submissively and to bring light and clear understanding of this path of Krishna consciousness. And for that, I am eternally grateful. Hare Krishna Maharaj, your servant, Bhakti Noel.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bhakti Noel. And your reflections, by the way, are special. They always are. And I look forward to getting to know you better and hearing more of them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was so fresh. Thank you. Wonderful. So, yeah, we have another recorded offering, which is by Her Grace Nirakula Devi Dasi. And
Nirakula is the wife of Vaisheshika Prabhu. And
yes,
she's my mom.
my mom. Yes, I'm sorry. My mom too, yeah, actually. Yay, Haribol.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Hare Krishna, dear devotees.
Mom, Hare Krishna.
Kripa Sindhu Vyevasha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I'm delighted to be here across the pond celebrating your 75th Diamond Jubilee birthday, Maharaj. All glories to you, to your service, and to your years of devotion to Srila Prabhupada. You have many, many good qualities, which I appreciate and which I've learned from, and I would like to just talk about a few of them. One is that my first memory of you was in Los Angeles. I was in the kitchen with a group of women who would come in to help with the Sunday feast. We would stuff samosas or kachoris, things like that. We were around a big table, and you walked through, and you actually stopped by and asked what was going on and encouraged us. And in those days, nobody did that. Especially a sannyasi didn't stop and be personable with the women. And that really made an impression on me. And all the years later, I found out that you were my dear husband's very best friend. And so that also came to be a very big blessing in my life. We miss you here. We miss you coming and staying with us and visiting us. And I've been thinking lately about how when you would come visit in the summer, we would go over to Satyadeva Mahaguna's home, and she would cook a huge Japanese feast, and how much fun that was. Everyone here at the temple and all of our friends who would come to visit you, they all have such great affection for you. And I was also remembering how Mahaguna and Satyadev's cat was drawn to you and would just jump up on your lap. And so even the animals love you, Maharaj. And then another quality that I was drawn to was how you are at home with us. You're always proper and respectful, but at the same time, you are just your family. You're the perfect guest. And so when you come and stay with us, it's so easy. It's perfect because my husband's best friend is here, and it just flows very nicely. And you're always chanting and reading out loud to us and sharing things that you've read. You chant all day long, and on Ekadashi, you chant 64 rounds. And I was always inspired by that. You haven't been here with us for a few years because of health and now COVID, but I'm happy to see that you've had your surgeries and that you are coming along nicely. I see you reading daily the Prabhupada's books, and I relish that association. And I'm hoping that I will be able to see you soon, that we'll come to wherever you are, or perhaps you will come again to visit us at home. On this auspicious day, this auspicious Ekadashi day, which is your 75th appearance day, I send you my heartfelt obeisances, my gratitude for your friendship, and for your dedication, loyalty, and beautiful example of discipleship. I pray this meets you well, and I hope to see you soon. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mom. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Mm.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice, huh? The Vaishnavas Association. It's very, yeah, so touching. So, well, what about Radhananda and her husband? Patiently sitting in the bakery, I hope. Yeah, there they are. Would you like to say something? Any of you, both of you? Please unmute. Yes. Unmute, yeah. So these devotees, you may be wondering, while they're going to unmute, they have a bakery in Antwerp, Belgium. And they're working very hard every day practically to make beautiful sandwiches with bread which they make themselves, and everything is offered. And Antwerp is being flooded with sandwiches for how many years now? How many years you have this shop?
We've been doing it for close to 10 years now.
Just see. So it's like a prasadam cannon, you know, into the city. All in very friendly, smiling, you know, multicultural, whatever, but it's prasadam is going out. So please let us hear from you about your devotion.
Hare Krishna. Dear Srila Guru Maharaj, please accept our obeisances. Jai, all glories to your holiness, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Haribol.
Thank you for having us. Sorry, we were running up and down a little bit in the beginning of the meeting here because the shop was still open. Now it's closed. So Antwerp is actually the city, one of the main world centers of diamonds. I heard in the beginning there was a lot of talk about diamonds. But unfortunately, it's not the spiritual diamonds we're looking for. It's the jewels. As you know, I've written an offering to you to save time of everybody. I'm not going to read it, but I would like to kind of highlight a bit a theme which was in there, and that is we hear often in lectures and devotees remembering Srila Prabhupada, how Srila Prabhupada used to be kind of walking with such a high pace in his morning readings that disciples of him who in years are a lot younger could not actually catch up with him, could not keep up with his walking. All of us, we must have heard that multiple times by various devotees. And I experiencing much of the same in your readings and your spiritual stamina, how you're moving on unstoppingly all these years, you know. And also with the readings, you're reading very steadily, strongly going forward in Prabhupada's books, and I feel I'm a little bit lagging behind, a lot younger than you. I get a little bit the feeling of that, how you are strongly proceeding, and myself and maybe others also kind of feeling, oh, how can I keep up with the strength, the spiritual strength going on there. And as I wrote at the end of the offering, a few days ago, you mentioned that you had been talking with Abhay Prabhu, how it seems that there's a little bit less listeners recently. And I thought, well, it may well be that, you know, that some of us just can't keep up with the spiritual force going on there. That's some of my insights or understandings. Furthermore, we are always very much blessed by your fatherly and friendship kindness unto us, and we're always much grateful for that. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna, wishing you a wonderful continued birthday party.
Thank you very much, Darling Tai. And we met in Taiwan also. So there's quite a few representatives in the Far East when we were there.
Sure.
And I very much appreciate how you and Radhananda have developed that bakery and are distributing prasadam and it's very difficult what you're doing. And still you keep your Krishna consciousness. This is a great example for all of us. There are different kinds of examples that are needed. And this is one of the most important examples, how married couples can serve together this movement. And so you're to be admired and deeply appreciated.
Well,
That's how we feel.
Well, we don't know about that too much, but certainly your encouragement is of tremendous inspiration to us, short and long term. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Radhananda. Haribo, Haribo.
Thank you. Very nice. So maybe Priya Prabhu, are you available? Would you like to say something to your Guru Maharaj?
Well, I'm certainly here, Mataji. I'm just a little bit concerned about how late it might be in Australia. Would Bhagavat Prabhu like to say something at this point, or should we just continue?
Well, he said that he would let us know when he wants to speak, so we're going by that now.
All right. Well, while you've asked me, Mataji, I shall do.
Please. So as I said before, that Priya Prabhu, he's heading up, I didn't say that, but he's heading up a preaching center, a wonderful preaching center, together with his wife, Shamagori Devidasi, in Folkestone, in Kent, I believe, yes. And it's really, when I went to visit the Maharaj there, and I experienced their Krishna consciousness and their steadfastness and their dedication and their quality of the service they do and their sincerity. I mean, like you open the door of the preaching center and immediately you see stacks of Srimad Bhagavatams ready to be distributed, you know? It's like, whoa, it's really a preaching center. It was so good for me to see that was actually still happening, you know? I had drifted so far away from all that. But they really, woke me up with their amazing, vigor and dedication and success. Shamagori, his wife, she runs the boutique. All kinds of people come there and they sell beautiful things, and they have a preaching program, Sunday feast, so many things.
Harinam Sankirtan.
Harinam Sankirtan now also. Yes, so it's very fresh what they're doing, I find. So please enlighten us, Priya Prabhu.
Thank you, Rati Manjari. We do miss you because you've been to visit us maybe at least 2 times, maybe 3. So we pray in the future you can come and visit us again, because
that would be great.
We really relish your association. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. So he's sitting at Dayalmora Das's camera if you want to see him. Yes, Prabhu. See, freshly shaven, baka, He's just like that. That's normal for him.
Do you think I'll ever get a word in here?
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
Dear Keshav Bharati Das Goswami, please accept my humble obeisances on this most auspicious day. Although time is a constant, and days are days, months are months, and the year is a year, these last 12 months have literally whizzed by again. A year further on, Maharaj, and we see you in much better health and with 2 brand new hits. Because of this, you are standing straighter and taller than I've ever seen you. This gives us all so much faith and encouragement that you will be around for many years to come. As we are aware, many years to come is what you need to continue your amazing service to Srila Prabhupada and to complete the BBT audiobook marathon. Although this is a monumental service in itself, it is only a portion of what you do. Giving it your all to the ERP to protect and preserve our very spiritual lifeline of Srila Prabhupada's books, which are being attacked by at least very misguided devotees and in actuality, some out and out demons. It gives me great inspiration to see you come out fighting and giving everything to protect Srila Prabhupada's legacy. Not like me, blazing in all directions and not getting the right result, but a measured, intelligent, empowered approach supported by 45 years of complete surrender to your Guru Maharaj. On top of all this, you still find the time to spend with devotees, supporting them and encouraging the pioneering preaching spirit. And because of your inspiration, and with the help of our dear Radha Raman Prabhu, we are seeing a new dawn in Soho Street under a very capable new leadership, with even His Holiness Devamrita Swami assisting also. What a team, what a future for London. And then, of course, your now very well known and so much appreciated daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. So much appreciated by your disciples and followers, and especially your God brothers and God sisters. His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami in particular has appreciated this service on many occasions. Due to your inspiration, Maharaj, our own reading group is growing and giving a strong foundation to the future ISKCON folksome. We are back around again to Canto 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam again, and on reading this verse from chapter 24, I immediately thought of you. Lord Shiva prays, my dear Lord, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things and the destroyer of all the contamination of sin. I therefore beg your Lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees, who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet and are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees. In the purport to this verse, Srila Prabhupada, citing a song from Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, states, the devotees of Lord Chaitanya are so powerful that each one of them can deliver a universe. In other words, it is the business of devotees to preach the glories of the Lord and deliver all conditioned souls. Also, in His Holiness Shiva Ramaswami's Sudha Bhakti Chintamani, of which of course you edited, Maharaj, it is stated, to be a member of ISKCON means to be absorbed in Srila Prabhupada's personal qualities, compassion, preaching spirit, unparalleled achievements, and literary masterpieces. Maharaj, thank you for being a living example of this absorption. With your wonderful example of total dedication to this cause, and seeing and hearing you relish every word of Krishna book during your daily readings, we can see the glories of the Lord are manifest to you. And because of this, you are able to share it with so many. Your divine association, Maharaj, is such a benediction to us all. I pray you are with us for many years to come.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Priya Kund and Shamagori have also been in my life, well, kind of like my parents, because when I started to come regularly to the UK, they would arrange everything. He'd pick me up from the airport, and whenever anybody needs to be picked up from the airport, he's right there. He wants to do it. Whenever I need to go anywhere, he's right there to do it. And without any, when someone serves without reservation, and when someone serves a little bit hesitatingly or even begrudgingly, it doesn't feel nice. It doesn't feel right. But with Priya Kund and Chamagori, you never feel that. They want to serve and they love to serve. That's because they love everyone. because they're very deeply Krishna conscious, as you heard in that wonderful offering. And so I pray that now that this has become my home, right next to Folkestone, that I also pray that this will go on for a long time so we can finish. We're getting finished with the CC, but then there's the Gita and then there's the Bhagavatam. To do the audiobook of the whole Bhagavatam, including purports, and make it perfect. It's not a small thing. And they are completely instrumental in my service and in my life. And that's why I think Krishna's brought me here. I didn't plan to come here, stay in this little flat forever, but Krishna arranged it. I didn't make any arrangements. And whatever has been needed has been coming without any effort. Just as Krishna says, Ananda Cheta Satatam Yomam Yoga Kshemam Baham Yaham. If you serve without motivation other than to please Krishna, then Krishna personally delivers what you need personally. So there are examples of this reciprocation between Krishna and his devotees, and also between us devotees. So I'd like to thank you very much. We wouldn't be here without you. That's a fact. Hare Krishna.
Nice. Amazing. So we have another grateful follower of Maharaj. Her name is Prabhupada Priya Devi Das.
Oh, Prabhupada Priya, Haribo.
Yeah, with a wonderful name and a wonderful heart. So please share your realizations.
Hare Krishna Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Priya.
Glory to Prabhupada. All glories to you.
Where are you, Prabhupada Priya?
I'm at the Atlanta airport. I'm in between flights. That's why I came late. I was on one flight and I'm waiting for the next. Back to Gainesville.
Okay.
But I'm happy to be able to squeeze in a little bit of time here. Sorry, I don't think I'm allowed to take off my mask, so you'll have to just imagine that I'm smiling to see all of you and Keshava Bharati Maharaj. Yeah, I just wanted to thank you so much for your example of how you're so absorbed in Srila Prabhupada's books, trying to, in my small way, to follow your lead. I've been reading Prabhupada's books with the devotees, new devotees in Gainesville. So we're, for those who don't know, we have a preaching center, and we have just during the pandemic, we've had actually an exceptional amount of devotees joining the ashram. So we've had like maybe 10 or 12 devotees join just like in the past year of the pandemic, like brand new devotees from scratch, you know, and it's been really inspiring. And so we have an evening class where we read the whole Bhagavad Gita from cover to cover, every word, every purport together with the devotees. And then after that we did nectar devotion. And it's just been amazing. And I have total faith in your theory, Gurudev, that just by reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we can become totally fixed up in Krishna consciousness, because I see it happening. I have, like practical everyday proof of how these kids are coming in from all kinds of backgrounds. Most of them are just, Western American kids who, have all kinds of issues and it's a rocky road, but that steadiness of just every day sitting together in the evening and reading Prabhupada's books and discussing, taking questions and answers until everybody's satisfied, they're becoming so strong and so convinced of this philosophy. And it's really inspiring to see the hearts change, to see that transformation. And it gives me so much faith, and it inspires me to also read and continue to, be engaged in helping others to read Prabhupada's books. And it's all your inspiration, Gurudev, because you're doing it. You've dedicated your life to this. And yeah, I just want to affirm everything that you say every day and everything that you do every day, that this is really the foundation on which very strong Krishna consciousness is built. So I want to thank you for being steady in that service and just steady as a rock in everything, you know, in your services, in your being an exemplary model of pure devotional service and dedication to Prabhupada, and in the support that you give to all of us whenever we need it, and just always encouraging and believing in us. At least I can say for myself that you know, you're one person that I feel like believes in me, that even though, you know, sometimes I get a little sidetracked, but you always have faith that I'm going to do the right thing in the end, and just the fact that you believe that I'm going to do the right thing makes me do the right thing. So yeah, I just want to thank you for always being there and just being such a wonderful, ecstatic devotee, and I hope that I can follow in your footsteps till the end of my life and beyond. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Priya. Prabhupada Priya and I met in London in 1990. Is that 1990?
1992.
1992.
Yeah.
And she was on her way going back to America from having a little break from her education. And she was accepted at Harvard University, which is one of the top universities in the world, for a PhD in some kind of ecological, was it? Ecological?
Yeah, it was plant ecology.
Plant ecology.
Yeah.
And
global change.
She came to a question and answer session in London, and we talked, and then we talked some more, and then we talked some more. We're both talkers. And then we talked some more, and sometimes we had some knockdown, drag out philosophical discussions, and she joined. That was one of the jewels that came from our time in Soul Street with those question and answer sessions, 3 hours a day to 12 hours a day, every day, without fail, meeting anyone who came in the door new. And during that time, 86 new Western devotees were made during that time.
Wow.
We were there 6.5 years. So London's the best place for making devotees, and we're sitting in front of one of those jewels that prove that that's true. It's the best place for making devotees on the planet, period. You know, have a saying in business, location, location, location. That's it. London is the top tourist attraction in the world. 55 million people a year before of course, now the pandemic has happened, but more people come to London as tourists than any other place in the world. So Dormora has now taken the lead, taken charge as the temple president. A new beginning is happening, and we pray that more Prabhupada Priyas will show up. And pass the baton over to Dormora because he's already doing it. We have Bhaktin Eden here, who was engaged in his dream service, childhood dream service of being an executive in Goldman Sachs. And he met Dormora, and then we talked a few times, and now look at him. He's out on the streets in London, and he's joined the movement, gave up his childhood dream job. Imagine, that's the potency, and that is the prediction, the prophecy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it's going to happen. Just like before the Battle of Kurukshetra, you know, Arjuna didn't want to fight, so Krishna showed him the universal form, and in that universal form, he saw how he was going to win the battle, and then he agreed to fight. So even though when Lord Chaitanya said Krishna consciousness is going to spread to every town and village, that means it's going to happen. whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not, whatever we think. It's already done. It's just a matter of time. 10,000 years is a long time. You can't even imagine. So thank you, Prabhupada Priya, for being the example of how we can make top quality people who come through London devotees. And it's happening right now. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Thank you so much. So meaningful.
Powerful. Thank you, Prabhupada Priya. Thanks for taking the time in between your travels and your preaching. It was very nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was gonna
She's
go
one of the most intelligent people I've met. Period. Yeah.
Jai,
Hare Krishna.
using it wonderfully.
Yeah.
Oh. Yadutama Prabhu, how about you? You ready?
Hare Krishna. Please accept my
Hare
humble
Krishna.
obeisances. Please accept my humble
Hare
obeisances.
Krishna.
Gurudev.
Hare Bol.
So nice to see you, Gurudev. So nice to see all my wonderful God brothers and God sisters all gathered here. I think I'll read my offering. I hope it's not too long. Anyway, Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. Please accept my most humble obeisances that I'm able to offer you. All glories to His divine grace, Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you and your service at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. All glories to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. How lucky we are to be able to glorify you and your tireless service to our guiding light, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. What to speak of everything you do, have done, and are still doing for us, your eternal well-wishers and disciples, day in and day out. And honestly speaking, your Vyasapuja is probably my most favorite celebration of the year, because by being in the association of all these devotees and hearing how you have touched their hearts, changed their lives, and helped carve a clear course to fall in love with Krishna, always sets my heart ablaze with a desire to do more for you and Srila Prabhupada, because it makes our ultimate goal even clearer. I am sure that I'm not the only one who shares this sentiment. As your Vyasapuja drew closer this year, I began meditating on a variety of interactions we have had since I first met you in the fall of 2015. And I wanted to highlight one of them that I hold especially dear because it illustrates not only your mercy upon me, but Srila Prabhupada's and Sri Sri Gaura-Nitai's supreme mercy on all of us as well, Patita Pavana and Parama Karuna. To make a long story short, after having a darshan with you in Dallas about 5 years ago, I was riding a wave of bliss, and after walking out of your office, suddenly I decided that I wanted to ask something else. Now I have absolutely no idea what had popped into my mind at that moment, but I can guarantee you that it was completely irrelevant. So I turned the knob of the door and barged back into your office as you were settling into a conversation with Bhakta Austin, now our beloved Abhay Prabhu. As soon as the first words clumsily rolled off my tongue, your stern gaze shot them down like heat-seeking missile, and you pointedly said, "Excuse me, I'm talking to him," as you gestured toward Abhay Prabhu. Oh boy, was I embarrassed. My gig of being a goody two-shoes was completely blown. After moping about for the rest of the afternoon in the air conditioning of the Dallas temple, Krishna arranged for you to cross my path on your way back to your office and room. I came up to you and sheepishly asked, "Maharaj, please forgive me. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm so sorry for interrupting." Without skipping a beat, you smiled back and said, "It's okay. You're just a Malecha Yavana." While doing a dance-like shuffle back and forth. Sweet relief. But only after it came, after I did a quick Google search about what a Malecha Yavana actually was. Yes, that is exactly what I am, I thought. In a lecture on Srimad Bhagavatam 182 in Vrindavan on October 5th, 1974, Srila Prabhupada said, Srila Prabhupada was talking about how we have to know that we are fallen before we can relish the nectar of Krishna Katha. The Mudas, they do not know it. So anyone who is in this material world, more or less, we are all Mudas. This morning, I was talking while walking on the beach. More or less, we are all Mudas. Without being a Muda, nobody comes here in this material world. Beginning from Brahma down to the small ant, we are all Mudas of different degrees. So in order to become really learned, not to remain Muda, we have to associate with devotee. Satam prasangam mama virya samvidaha. Then it will be relishable. Satam prasangam mama virya samvidaha. When it is relishable, actually, when you take some foodstuffs, if it is relishable, it gives you contentment. Oh yes, very nice food. So bhavanti hrit, it is pleasing to the heart. Oh, such a nice food, and pleasing to the tongue. Similarly, when Krishna Katha is discussed amongst the devotees, it is pleasing to the heart and pleasing to the ear. Unless you relish something through the ear and through the heart, how can you steadily follow Krishna Katha? So that requires little training. And that little training is given by the devotees, by their practical life, by their daily behavior, their routine work. If we follow Taj Joshanat, Joshanat means practice, is it not? What is given? Joshanat, cultivation. Yes, cultivation means practice. Practice. As will be glorified, as end quote, as will be glorified over and over again today, Gurudev, through your causeless mercy and constant association, you give us the opportunity to become humble. You give us the practice so that we can steadily grow. You give us the training to tell what is right from wrong. You give us the example that we can follow. You give us the encouragement so that we can keep going. You give us the taste so that we can relish. Without you, we would never be able to even become attached to hearing about Krishna from Srila Prabhupada. We wouldn't have any idea about our fallen position. And without any of this, how could any of us ever dream of attaining the necessary quality that you so often talk about? Dainya, pure and utter humility. In the Science of Self-Realization, Prabhupada gives us the most simple definition of what a guru actually is. Prabhupada says that the definition of a genuine guru is that he is simply talking about God. That's all. Your commitment to constantly talking about Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, and all of their associates shines a beacon of hope for us, a beacon that we too may fall hopelessly in love with Krishna and Srila Prabhupada just as much as you have. Because as you tell us time and time again, this is the goal, just as is stated in Bhagavatam 3:25-25. In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed, and his attraction becomes fixed. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. End quote. Without you, Gurudev, there would be no relishing, there would be no love, there would be no steadiness, there would be no devotional service. Because I'm a Malecha Yavana, a Mudha, a fool, I cannot fully comprehend the mercy that through you, Srila Prabhupada and Sri Sri Nitaya Paramakaruna are giving us. But all I can say is thank you. All I can do to thank you is to promise that I will do my best to follow in your footsteps, to stay on the path and encourage as many others as you empower me to do so. That is all I have. That is all I desire to want. Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you for unconditionally sharing with us so that we too can surrender to Srila Prabhupada and Nitai Gaurachandra and once and for all be happy. Your fallen and lowly servant, always seeking your mercy, Yudhita Das. Thank you, Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, Yudhitama, that was very beautiful. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
You're hearing, because only one who hears nicely can speak nicely. That's the reason we want to hear nicely, because the more we hear nicely, the more nicely we can speak to others and make them and help them come to Krishna consciousness and become fixed in Krishna consciousness and happy, actually happy. That's the goal that Srila Prabhupada brought us. It's the goal that Lord Chaitanya gave. He agreed to come here and give this love for Krishna openly without considering who's fit or who isn't fit. The Panchatattva gave Krishna consciousness to everyone. So I'm very pleased that you're reading the books and it comes out in your offering. This is what, actually it's what the Vyasapuja ceremony is about, to hear each year devotees as they grow in their Krishna consciousness express that Krishna consciousness in an assembly of devotees. It's particularly sweet. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
All by your mercy, Gurudev. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Jaya Duttama. Duttama is the highest, right? So you're going in the right direction. Servant of Yaduttama. All right. So Bhagavata
Yaduttama
Sharma
means is the name of Krishna, and it means the best of the Yadus.
Wonderful. Bhagavata Sharma, yes, requested me through the chat. They would like to say a few words. Yes, Prabhu. It's the little thing on top. And you click it and then yes, great.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hari Bol Bhagavan. Hare Krishna.
I guess it might be because of the lateness of the night. I didn't really have anything in my mind to say earlier. So I thought, well, if I listen, perhaps something will come to me. I've been listening to some very wonderful devotees say very wonderful and deeply realized things. And that's a very humbling experience to be in the presence of such pure-hearted devotees. And there's a saying that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I'm thinking of you in this as a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So many people tonight have talked about your unflinching faith in Srila Prabhupada, and especially in Srila Prabhupada's books. We all know Srila Prabhupada dedicated the Bhagavatam to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta by saying, he lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives with him. So I think we can all see that you are such a follower of Srila Prabhupada. And in that regard, I was thinking about faith and so all right, somebody has faith in somebody, but how does that manifest in their life, in their action? And it came to me very clearly that the faith one has in one's spiritual master is demonstrated by the loyalty that one has to his spiritual master. And this year, it's 44 years since Srila Prabhupada left this world. And for those of us who've somehow or another done the distance over that time, this principle of loyalty, faith and loyalty, is a very important thing. I recall, I guess it's about 10 ago, I was in Govardhan with you for Kartik, and we were reading with Vaisheshika and the assembled devotees. And I had an experience one morning which went very deep, and I thought I'd tell that story just quickly. It was just before we gathered for a reading, and I was listening to a lecture by Srila Prabhupada while I was sweeping out my room. And I just got all the dust to the door, and I was just about to sweep it out, and I was bent down looking at the floor, looking at what I was doing. So just as I went to flick it out the door, I looked, and there I saw the feet of a devotee who was obviously a sannyasi. So I looked up, and it was a godbrother who had gone outside of ISKCON and taken sannyas from the head of a Gaudiya Mat. He was somebody I'd known quite intimately in the years that I known, and he was he'd come to see me. I hadn't seen him for several years, but I had heard of what he'd done, and I was quite ambivalent about it. But anyway, I invited him into my room and offered him a drink, and we sat down and we were talking, and he was asking me about my life and my wife and how we were doing and what was going on. And I didn't feel comfortable, but I went through it, and he was telling me all about this personality that he'd taken sannyas from in glowing terms and so on and so forth. And he never once mentioned Srila Prabhupada. And when he left, I was feeling very uncomfortable, very actually physically ill, to tell you the truth. And then after he'd gone for a minute or two, I was thinking, well, why am I feeling this in my gut? Just feeling so much chagrin from this encounter and what he'd been saying, or what he'd not been saying, actually. And I didn't really know what to do, so I just put the lecture back on. And I was listening for about a minute, and then Srila Prabhupada said in the boldest voice, "You must be loyal to your Guru Maharaj." I was stunned.
Yeah.
But that wasn't just it, because in the next sentence, I was super stunned, because having said, "You must be loyal to your Guru Maharaj," he paused for a moment, and then he said in the most vulnerable of voices, "Because it is your Guru Maharaj who introduces you to Krishna." So I just wanted to say to, well, he's Giriraj Maharaj. I have to stay on a bit longer now. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Giriraj Maharaj has come on?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh, Maharaj, Hare
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. Thank you so much. My dear
I
one.
love you, Maharaj. I love you.
I love you too, Giriraj Maharaj. And when I read your book, that love increased exponentially.
Thank you.
That's the truth. Masterpiece and a masterfully told how to develop a relationship with your spiritual master. And how much the spiritual master loves his disciples. Yes, because of that loyalty that Bhagavad Shaya was just talking about.
Hi.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to the haven.
It's actually quite transcendental that Bhagavad Shaya Prabhu is talking about loyalty to one's spiritual master, and then suddenly His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj appears. It's like a very wonderful example. Maharaj,
That's Bhagavad. He's a mystic, Bhagavad. He's a mystic, no doubt.
Summoning. Bhagavad Shaya Prabhu, were you finished? You want to finish your point or your offering?
He wasn't finished.
I know. Please.
Shall I finish?
Did you see how Maharaj very carefully put Srila Prabhupada's photo so that everyone can see Prabhupada? That's Giriraj Maharaj. That's what you call attentive to detail. And Prabhupada explained that you can tell how serious that person is by how attentive he is to detail. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu?
Do you want to speak, Maharaj?
Of course he wants to speak, but do you want to finish your beautiful point?
Well, I don't. All right.
Yes.
I'll be.
Kindly.
I'll be.
Oops. Yes.
What I wanted to say to Maharaj's disciples is that this example that your Guru Maharaj is setting you is something which you in due course of time will have to emulate yourself in your own lives. Loyalty to the spiritual master is absolutely essential in one's spiritual life, because the only actual connection we have to Krishna is by the mercy of the spiritual master. So one of the things that I can claim as a credit in my life is that I've known Keshava Bharati Maharaj longer than most of you present here today, much longer actually. And this is something which I've seen always in Keshava Bharati Maharaj, his unflinching faith in and loyalty to Srila Prabhupada. But the point I was getting at is that that faith and loyalty has had to be sustained and demonstrated through a very long period now of separation from Srila Prabhupada, physical separation from the spiritual master. And we need to understand that that is actually the life of the disciple, to take the instructions of the spiritual master into one's heart, and in the face of all the relentless onslaughts and pitiless intrigues of the material energy, remain faithful and loyal to those instructions. And we see here now, actually, on the screen, I'm seeing two very stalwart examples of this principle being lived out. The reality that we all have to face is that we are all much younger than our spiritual masters. And our spiritual masters, therefore, in the natural sequence of things, will leave this world before us. And we have to live in separation before that time and after that time. And what we can see in the life of Keshava Bharati Maharaj is an exalted example of living those principles. Like I said, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. We understand those principles were very, very powerfully demonstrated by Srila Prabhupada. And I'm very impressed tonight to see the caliber of the disciples of Keshava Bharati Maharaj and hear them speak in the way they've spoken. And I really have no doubt that you will all be a credit to your spiritual master in this regard.
Jai, Haribol. Well
Hare
said,
Krishna.
my Lord.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing that point up, as it is, as you say, the reality for much of our lives. So it's very wise. I hope that we will all take these words to heart. And thank you so much for giving us your association from. And then, I don't know if Guru Maharaj is still able to sit there. I mean, Maharaj, please, you can take a break if you want. I don't want to embarrass you, but
The idea did not even enter my mind.
no.
No,
Okay. All right. Good, because we don't want to go, don't we? Do we? No, we don't. We want to listen to His Holiness Kiraj Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.